Hey guys, welcome back to Andy's Dinosaur Reviews, and we have something insanely epic to take a look at today. We are going to check out another of the brand new Rubbersaurs from Marco Makes. This is something that I have been greatly anticipating the release of, and the release is actually right around the corner. I just happen to be lucky, and I have the opportunity to take a look at it a little bit early for you guys, but the release of this is actually coming this Saturday. There will be a video up on Marco Makes YouTube channel all about this figure, and then the release will follow the video immediately. But you can see we have a posable Atrociraptor. Now this would be Atrociraptor Ghost, and if you happen to have watched a previous review I had done, there was a review that we had up on the channel previously from Marco that we had a review of Atrociraptor Panthera, but now we have Ghost, and you can see that the packaging and everything is pretty much the same, which is probably the absolute best way possible to package and display your Atrociraptor, because we have the cage that the Atrociraptors are held in Jurassic World Dominion, and that's exactly what the packaging here is for the set. And you can see, if we get nice and close, you've got like a really cool image here of the cage. You've got scratch marks on the side, caution wild animals, and then of course the species name right there, and then a sneak peek of the figure right there. And then if you take a look up here at the top, you can again see the top of the cage, and then you can see again Series 6 collectible rubber dinosaur model and Rubbersaurs. And if we turn it around, you can actually see a little sneak peek of the figure in there. But if we turn it around, we have more incredible artwork here on the back, more incredible, I should say, dinosaur toy photography here on the back for the Atrociraptor. Also some information on the dinosaur and information down here about Marco Makes, of course, who is the sculptor and painter of this figure, and then of course the social media accounts of Marco Makes that you should definitely follow if you are not already. On top of that, we actually also have a really cool card that comes with this. You can see a nice Marco Makes card, which looks absolutely awesome. And actually, there is Panthera, who we've already taken a look at, who I just mentioned. A lot of these, actually, we've taken a look at as we've reviewed the Rubbersaurs, Lost World Jurassic Park Velociraptor, as well as a Rubbersaurs T-Rex, although I don't think that's exactly the one that I have. That might be the newer one, which I'm really looking forward to getting my hands on at some point. And there yet again is that newer one, just like dying to get that in my hands. But you can, again, see all of the social media outlets here for Marco Makes, and then you can scan the code to get that information that you might want, again, to acquire those social media accounts. And on top of all of that, we also have a certificate of authenticity, and you can see that this certifies that this product is an authentic and handcrafted model made by Marco Makes, tells us the date that it was created, as well as Marco's signature right there. So a whole lot of awesomeness included in this, but of course, the most awesome part is this fantastic Atrociraptor, so let's pop it out of the package and check it out. So our Atrociraptor is now loose from its packaging and looking honestly as epic as it gets. Like, wow, is that ever phenomenal. And of course, as I build my Atrociraptor pack from Marco Makes, I'm at the point now where I don't know that I'll ever need another version of an Atrociraptor from anyone when it comes to these Jurassic World Atrociraptors, because these are just super, super high quality. And on top of that, again, as screen accurate as it gets, like it looks like an absolute clone of the Atrociraptors that you see in Dominion. And that, of course, is because Marco is incredibly good at capturing screen accuracy with his models. Like, he studies them intently, so of course that's definitely a good thing. But I'm really excited that I have the opportunity to take a look at this ahead of time before the actual review goes live, because it gives you guys a chance to look at the figure here with a nice review and then acquire yourself this model again on Saturday. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump straight to a closer look at it right now. Starting up here at the head sculpt of our Atrociraptor, look at how incredible that skin texture and scale detail and just general fine detail is on this head sculpt of the Atrociraptor. Like, that is absolutely next level amazing. And on top of that, Marco, of course, has those really nice light tones that you see on Atrociraptor Ghost. One of the reasons why I think this Atrociraptor really stands out a lot more than some of the others. But on top of that, he's applied a really nice kind of a grayish wash to the figure, which you can see showing up quite abundantly through the course of the entire figure, and that makes the detail pop even more so than the already extremely impressive paintwork Marco has applied. But you can see, of course, on top of the light tones and that wash, we also have some darker tones that kind of lead down here, striped through the palette. You can see them lead down from the eye socket area as well. He's also highlighted the nostrils very nicely with a darker tone of color. The eye is painted with a red, given a nice slit-like black pupil, but he also has a nice little white spot there on the eye to give it that nice kind of eye shine look, which I do quite like as well. We, of course, have an articulated jaw. It can open really wide, and as you can see, the jaw works perfectly, giving you the ability to really display it from pretty much any point. We've got a really nice, very highly detailed tongue there on the inside of the mouth. On top of that, it's got some nice variation of color to it with some nice light pinks. Looks to have like a wash, maybe even a dry brushing. My camera really doesn't want to focus on it. And even more incredible paintwork as you move back into the back. Wow, look at how impressive it is on the upper side of the inside of the mouth. Man, that is super, super nice looking. And you can also probably tell that there's a nice gloss coat in there, making it all shine, giving it that nice wet look, you know, that saliva-like look. Pretty much a perfect gloss coat applied in there. And you can also see it here on the skin of the inside of the mouth and the side. You can also see the teeth are sculpted really nicely. Each tooth looks to be sculpted individually, painted with kind of like a slightly yellowish tone, which is very nice because I think that gives it a more realistic appearance rather than just having kind of like bright whites and stuff. And every tooth, again, painted perfectly. Again, probably some of the most precise paintwork you'll ever see. You'll see found on a Marco Makes figure. And again, that jaw is just so nicely as far as the way it articulates. And there you can take a nice look at the opposing side of the head, giving, again, a nice visual of how impressive the detailing and paintwork is of the head. And as you move up here, you see again that wash really highlighting all of the sculpt and detail as you move along. And as you begin to head back into the neck, you start to see that kind of striping pick up, that kind of black striping. And on top of that, there's also just a lot of really bumpy kind of scales, almost like small sort of osteoderm-like scales, pretty much littering the side of the neck here of the figure. And then as you move down, you've got some nice wrinkling and creasing in the neck, and then you move down a little further, you have like a scoot-like appearance here on the underside running along the throat of the Atrociraptor. And we also have some nice color variation picking up. Like I could see some slight differences in color, slight subtle changes in color throughout, as well as a really nice dry brushing. So if that dark wash wasn't highlighting the detail good enough for you, the dry brushing will absolutely help to do that as well. And as you move down a little further, you start to see that kind of striping change in design, and it starts to kind of become a little bit more erratic as far as the way it appears on Atrociraptor Ghost, which is exactly how it looks in the film. As you move down here into the arms, you can see some nice muscle definition. Again, phenomenal looking skin texture and scale detail as you continue to move down. You've got a few more kind of stripes as you lead down the course of the arm. Really nice looking hand sculpt, nice scoots down the fingers, and some really nicely sculpted nails, and they have that genuine kind of sharp look to them, which is one of the many reasons why these are always a cut above the rest when it comes to figures like this. But on top of that, you have a nice black coloration for the nails, and they as well sport a nice gloss coat like you would like to see. Of course, you also have articulation in the arms. You can move the arms very much so quite forward, get kind of a menacing look there of the Atrociraptor running in with its arms up, or you can move them back, you know, hold them into the body in kind of a nice natural position. Really up to you, and of course both arms articulate, so you can articulate them as you please. But if we actually move them forward here a little bit, get a nice look at the stomach region, you can see some more skin wrinkles and stuff here in the lower part of the stomach. More nice looking scale detail as you move up here along the side. You can even see a little bit of girth there in the stomach region. And the spinal column as well, moving along the back of the dinosaur. More of that black kind of designing around. As you lead into the thigh, the muscle definition is nicely displayed, but not overly defined, which is also nice to see. As you move down, you can take note to the kneecap. Very big bulging calf muscle. Obviously, these dinosaurs do run quite a bit, so you would expect them to have quite a good bit of muscle definition moving down, especially in the calf region. But as you move down into the foot, you've got some nice scoots running down the toes, as well as, of course, that big sickle claw. They're all, again, given that nice realistic, sort of genuine sharp look, and also that nice gloss coat for the black tone of color. And we, of course, have dew claws painted, which, of course, is always an extra plus. As you lead up here into the tail, you have a few more skin wrinkles here leading off of the back of the thigh, more of that designing as we lead out the length of the tail. You continue to see that kind of designing moving out. There's also a nice curve to the tail as you lead out, and again, some more really beautiful looking skin texture, scale, detail as you move along. And even though it is currently upside down, we'll just flip it around. You can see the Rubbersaurs logo stamped here on the underside of the figure. And if we move here along the underside, you also can get a very good look at how nice the sculpt as well as the paintwork is. Again, there is a lot of really nice paint application to this figure, like a lot of really beautiful, very precise grays and variations of grays and kind of off-whites and stuff that have been applied. And then, of course, we do also have leg articulation, so you can move that forward and back really quite far. And on top of that, the figure does have that kind of rubbery sort of feel, especially in the tail. You can bend it and move it around a little bit, but that is absolutely the best Atrociraptor Ghost figure I have ever seen, and I really don't see anybody making a better one anytime soon. Marco absolutely knocked this Atrociraptor out of the park, just like he always does. Another big plus for the figure, as you can see, it balances very nicely, stands in a very nice natural position with the tail up off the ground and everything. But for a size lengthwise, you were looking at right around 8 3/4 inches, or a little over 22 centimeters, and height-wise, about a little over 3.5 inches, but not quite at 3 3/4, or around the 9 centimeter mark, maybe a little hair over. And that, of course, is in this position. You can alter the position. You can make the raptor stand up a lot taller, or, crouch it down. That's really up to you. And, well, actually, look at that. It stands that way very nicely as well. And as you can see, it obviously can stand very nicely in this position as well. And, what's really impressive about that is it looks like the tail's touching, but the tail actually is not. It's actually up off of the ground, which that shows you how good the balance is of this figure from Marco. Like, every position I just put it in, it stood really nicely. Super, super impressive balance on this Atrociraptor. And then yet again, but for a size comparison, there is Mr. Papo T-Rex, the Attack Pack Colovisaurus, and Robert Muldoon from the Mattel Jurassic World toy line next to our absolutely amazing Atrociraptor Ghost from Marco Makes. And this should help to give you a pretty good idea of the size and the fact that it honestly is like right there in the size range you would expect it to be. It's not larger than you would think. It's not smaller than you would think, or at least as far as, what I was expecting. Of course, I already have one in the, from a previous review. I've already taken a look at the Atrociraptor Panthera, but as far as probably what you would expect size-wise, I would say this is pretty much right there. And for another comparison, we have the Mattel Velociraptor and Dilophosaurus here, stepping in for a size comparison. The Dilophosaurus kind of creeping out from under the tail there of our Atrociraptor, but this should help to give you an idea of a size as well. But if not, for another comparison, here is a size comparison next to a Mattel Atrociraptor, and you can also see, taking a look here at this comparison, how much more accurate the Marco Makes version is than what you see on the Mattel versions, as I always felt like the Mattel head sculpt was just a little off compared to the way the Atrociraptors look in Dominion. Not terrible, but Marco's is definitely a lot better looking. But again, if you happen to have a Mattel Atrociraptor and you are a collector of those Atrociraptors, this should help to give you an idea of the Marco Makes version's size. And then for the comparison, and not even necessarily a comparison, just the moment I was really looking forward to, we get to see Atrociraptor Ghost and Panthera from Marco Makes here together, creating one half of the Atrociraptor squad, the Atrociraptor pack, whatever you want to call them. But we've got 2 of the 4 now here in my collection. Cannot wait for Marco to release the other 2 so I can complete my Atrociraptor squad here and have all 4 of them looking as absolutely incredible as Atrociraptor figures can get. So this brand new Marco Makes Rubbersaurs Atrociraptor Ghost is phenomenal yet again, and I would say Ghost is probably my favorite of all of the Atrociraptors. I just really love the appearance of it. I love the coloration. I love how similar it looks to the Jurassic Park 3 female Velociraptor. I've always been a fan of that coloration on those raptors, so when I had seen that the Jurassic World Dominion film was going to feature an Atrociraptor with similar colors, I was sold instantly. But I just really love the very different appearance to Ghost compared to all three of the other Atrociraptors. I think the design team for the film did a fantastic job on that one, and also at the same time almost giving it kind of like a throwback to the Jurassic Park 3 film. But Marco absolutely nailed it as far as this Atrociraptor goes. The sculpt is again spot on. As you always find, no matter what it is, if it's a Marco Makes sculpt, it's going to look pretty much exactly like it did in the film. It's going to look like it literally was just pulled from the film. That is exactly what you get here with this incredible Atrociraptor. And the detail is beyond impressive, and Marco has done such a great job of highlighting his gorgeous sculpt with his paintwork, because he's painted it in, different ways where you really make sure that that detail pops with dry brushing techniques and washes and stuff, and you can see that through the course of the figure. He absolutely painted this in the most realistic way possible while also showing off how beautiful his sculpt is, and all of the paintwork on it is really nice and naturally applied, super smooth transitions. Just in general, it looks like body color, not paint on a figure, and you really can't give a figure any more of a higher compliment, I would say, than that when it comes to how good a paint job can look. On top of that, he's also added in other elements of realism like gloss coats and stuff on the inside of the mouth, the nails, even in the nostrils, and articulation on top of everything, which is always fun to be able to pose your figures, your raptors in this case, your Atrociraptors and stuff, and create all kinds of different display options and diorama possibilities. So yet again, another incredible release from Marco Makes. Something that I am so happy and so proud to have in my collection is more Marco Makes, and this is again probably the best version of Atrociraptor Ghost that I will ever see. So if you are interested in grabbing one of these for yourself, make sure you check Marco's video out again on Saturday when it does debut. Make sure you are subscribed to him on YouTube, follow him on his social media accounts like Instagram, Facebook, all of that stuff, and of course follow his Etsy shop so you can purchase the models there. But of course, the key to getting yourself this one here in your hands is to watch his video when it does debut on Saturday, and then as soon as the video is over, you head to the link that he will include in the description to grab yourself this Atrociraptor, again, right after the video concludes. So make sure you do all of that stuff, grab yourself this amazing Atrociraptor, and also like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next review. Thanks for watching.